No interview.
No interview? Okay. I'm going to move on to somebody that wants to be recorded. That's a little bit better use of my time.
All right.
But if you know...
What was your name?
Anthony.
Anthony, nice meeting you.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer, hey, nice to meet you.
Well, hey, you know what? We actually do have like a meeting that we're going to have. We usually have a meeting like over here at room 002.
Oh, it's indoors?
Yeah.
It's a Bible study.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we just like, you know, honestly, like one of the things that we try to do is like keep it very community based, you know, like, I mean, me, like, you know, I was just telling one of the guys like from Chi Alpha is like,
is this Chi Alpha?
This is Crew.
Oh, Crew. Okay.
Yeah. Crew is like.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone from Crew yet.
You have now.
Is Odell in Crew? Do you guys know Odell?
I know Odell.
Black guy.
My friend.
Yeah.
He's your friend?
You talked to Odell?
He's great.
Yeah.
He's really great. I love him.
He's
I was hoping to run into him again for a third interview.
Yeah. I think, you know, one of the things that we try to do, I was telling one of the guys from Chi Alpha, like when I first started like campus ministry, like running Crew, I used to, now I'm kind of like pushing more of like the leadership role to like Spencer and like other student leaders, just because I'm about to transfer to A&M. So I mean, I want to keep
hand over the torch, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I love to do. Like, I love meeting students. I love talking about life.
Dude, I love this. I love having conversations with believers. They usually end up really enjoying the conversation too. I really think I agitated your friend, and I really feel bad about that.
No, what is it? I was, you know, well, I mean, you got to watch out too, you know, because like, I don't know, man. Like, some people,
I guess you can't always get people who will be willing to share their beliefs and talk freely.
Right.
Yeah, it's you know, I think in the sense you can't really generalize people. Like,
I never know what I'm gonna get. That's why I try to never assume. Like, In fact, I think I asked him, "Well, what God do you believe in?" And I think he took that as an insult, but I really intended it to be giving him the benefit of giving maybe him the benefit of the doubt that I didn't want to make any assumptions.
Oh no.
So maybe that question rubbed him the wrong way. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, because like that's such a hard thing, you know, because like I'm pretty sure you probably like seen like the UTSA interviews on CNN, you know, where the atheist group there was like trading like Bibles for like pornography, you know, the Smut for Smut campaign, you know, and that doesn't really build a lot of bridges, does it? I think in the sense,
you know what, they don't do that anymore. I'm friends with the president, and they haven't done that for 3 years.
Yeah,
he's very anti that sort of negative confrontational approach.
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of times, like, I mean, I can't generalize either, you know, but some of the atheists I've met, you know, they turned out to be, like, sometimes angry people, you know, and I'm like, dude, like, why are you so angry about life, you know? And
you know why most of the time it is? And I could say that because I am an atheist. Usually it's when you discover that you've been holding a belief that's not justified. You tend to lash out at the people that helped you, convinced you that the belief was true in the first place.
Yeah, that's understandable.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you live your whole life.
You get mad at the religious system.
It's like, why did mom and dad do this to me? Why did they tell me this bullshit? You know, I'm not saying...
Right, no, they just shove you.
I respect your right and my parents' right, you know, to believe what you want.
Yeah.
But I think that's a typical reaction. It usually takes 2 or 3 years to get past the angry atheist phase.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to lash out at a believer because, well, who else can you lash out? Because you're already angry at yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know what? Like, I think that's the beauty thing about like who Christ is. You know, because like, I mean, taking away the spiritual aspects. You know, you look at that figure. You know, he's a very humble guy in history. You know, cared about people. And you can even challenge the church on that. It's like, why are we relying on the government to take care of like people in general? Why not the church take care of like each other?
Well, when you look at the dwindling numbers of people going to church, it kind of makes more sense. Like, I mean, in 30 years, if you look at like the number of people 20 and younger, you look at the studies, 30% say they have no religious belief. So if that trend continues, relying on those religious institutions might not be the smartest long-term plan. But anyways, I'll let you guys go. I know you got class and everything. And if you change your mind, Spencer, I'd love to chat with you.
Okay.
I'm really like not in your face, non-confrontational, true back-to-back respect. And and if I'm mistaken on where I'm at, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think honestly, you know, like, well, I mean, what are the biggest questions, I guess, like you want answered?
Well, have you?
Why do you believe what you believe?
Have you studied the Christian religion like for yourself?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was raised as a Christian.
Yeah, but what I mean is like you've like researched it and you've looked into it instead of going off what other people have tried to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I could research every religious text, but for me, just because a book, whether it's the Book of Mormon or the Bible or the Quran or whatever, the Bhagavad Gita, it is, and it took me many times to practice that. But just reading something in a book for me wouldn't be enough for me.
It's crazy, you know, like.
But for you guys, it is. It sounds like you're okay going off the book.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like,
well,
I'm all about like facts too, you know, like I'm very like.
Really?
You know, honestly, like, as far as like text goes, like there is like so much truth behind like text, you know, because like you look at I mean, I tell Spencer and I tell my girlfriend all the time, you know, like one of like the biggest like one of the verses I usually hold to is like, you know, the merciful shall receive mercy.
So you read verses that you like, and that makes you think that the book is true. Is that a fair statement?
No. You know what? It's kind of like someone reading like an inspirational quote and using it for themselves, you know. But I mean,
but how does that make the belief true?
Yeah, I think in the sense, I don't know. I'd like to think, you know, with Christ, you know, he said, I mean, obviously there has to be a change in you, you know. Like I don't think in the sense like we have to remain. There are going to be times like where Christ is going to call us to uncomfortable situations. Like there was times like where I was in Dallas, you know, with Spencer. We were at a conference and like I really felt like God was like putting on my heart to like go like talk to like one guy, you know, at a Denny's, and I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. Like, what if he thinks I'm weird or something? You know, like the normal like. But I mean.
And it turned out okay?
Yeah, you know.
So is it being pushed outside your comfort zone and doing something that you might not normally do helps you think that the belief is true?
Well, I mean, I think in the sense like you never know what God is going to use you for until you actually say, okay, God, like, you know. But that's where the selfishness comes in a lot of times. Is just, you know, I think we care about our own status rather than just like, well, what does God think about me?
You said facts are important to you. Have you ever considered what you'd have to discover to correct your understanding that the Bible wasn't the accurate, you know, unfailing, infallible Word of God? What would change your mind?
You know what? I think about that a lot of times, you know, and you know, as far as like facts go, you know, like I remember in high school, you know, I don't really have any.
Stand over here.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I just want to get the noise behind me.
Yeah, I don't really have like any. Well, when I was a kid, or I mean, high school, you know, whatever. I'm 25. I still feel like I'm a kid, you know. Like I don't really.
From my perspective, you are.
Yeah, it's all good. But anyway, like I remember, like, you know, I would have cramping in my knee. You know, didn't have really much cartilage, and I remember going to a service, you know, and.
A mass or a church service, you mean?
It was a church. It was kind of like one of like the nonprofits I used to help out called the Dream Center. I mean, it's still existent and it's still running great. You know, they feed like people on the east side, give them food, clothing, you know. And another good one is like Dream Center LA, where they actually pick up prostitutes and like house them in their gym and like, you know, feed them and try to like help them out, you know, trying to get out of that.
But your knee, you're saying?
What?
Was something with your knee?
Oh yeah, and well, there was an well, he wasn't Mr. Olympia, but he was like a bodybuilder, an ex-bodybuilder that turned pastor, and his big thing was like, you know, healing, you know, and you know, I remember like him asking like everybody, like, you know, hey, if you need healing for something, you know, I'd love to pray with you. And I remember, you know, going up there, like, you know, my knee was like cramping and like. But like it was a pain that I've always had for like years, and so I was just like, you know what, like, God, it's okay if like you don't heal me, like I still love you and I still trust you, you know. So after he prayed for my knee, like literally, like as soon as he lifted his hand, like the pain was gone, and I haven't had pain like in 2 years, I want to say.
Thanks for sharing the story. But you said that even if it didn't happen, you'd still believe. Why?
Just because.
Why do you believe this so strongly?
I think in the sense, you know, just because like life in itself is always going to be hard in general. But I mean,
do you feel that the belief gives you comfort?
Yeah, yeah.
What does the fact that it gives you comfort have anything to do with the truth of the belief?
Well, God always says, you know, like, one day absent in the mind is a day present with the Lord, you know. And,
what does that mean?
you know, whenever we die, you know, we become present with God, you know, and there will be no more pain for us, you know.
Well, that's what the book says.
Yeah.
And when I asked you if you can give an example of what you would have to see to change your position on believing that the Bible is the infallible Word of God, you'd started giving reasons why you believe.
Yeah.
Can you give a reason? Is there anything that you could see or experience that would cause you to say, I can't be 100% on the confidence of this book. I need to go down to the 50% mark.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really difficult because, like, I mean, you know what? Like, honestly, like, there are so many, like honestly, I mean, physical wise, I say, man, there's like so many great people, you know, that are doing such great works for God. You know, it's just like, just because like I had the wrong latte, someone served me the wrong latte, it gives me the right to complain, you know. And
okay, let me throw a situation at you.
Yeah, go for it.
What is your favorite latte? What is your,
I don't know, chai latte.
Chai latte. You like chai latte?
Yeah, sure.
Take me through the process, and give me your first name again.
Anthony.
Yeah. You go to order a chai latte, right? And they hand you a cup. How would you figure out that you didn't get chai latte? What would you do? How would you discover that your belief, 100% confident that there's chai latte in there? How would you figure out that there wasn't?
I guess just what I've tasted in the past, you know.
Okay. You take a sip of it. Okay. And then if there wasn't chai latte in there, what would you do?
I guess I'd be like, hey, like, this is chai latte. Or this is not a chai latte. I'd probably send it back.
You'd send it back, and you'd want to correct the situation.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's belief revision.
Hey, don't you have class right now? I just don't want you to be late.
12:15. Yeah, I got a couple minutes.
Okay. That's belief revision, right?
Yeah.
For something as simple as a cup of coffee, a simple cup of latte. What is your corrective mechanism to determine that the Bible doesn't function in the way that you think that it does?
It really just depends on like the individual themselves.
I'm interested in you.
Yeah, I know. Man, you know what? Honestly, like time and time again, like really, you know, like there's times where I didn't think I was going to be able to pay my rent or didn't know where my next meal was, like on empty on gas. And by the end of the day, you know, like God still provided more than enough.
These are why you believe. These are reasons why you believe.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your sincerity and your honesty.
Yeah.
But I want to understand how you can discover that you were mistaken so that you can correct your understanding. And I'm not saying that you are.
Yeah.
Right? You can do it for a cup of latte.
Yeah. I think.
How would you do it for this most important belief in your life?
I think in the sense like just kind of like the people that are around me, because like I always try to surround myself with like authentic people. And my girlfriend's super great at like telling me how it is, you know. It's like, no, you're acting like this.
Was that her that I just saw earlier?
No, that was Alex.
That's somebody else.
No, that's somebody else. No.
Okay.
No, it's funny.
So in order for you to discover that you were mistaken on the Bible, and I'm not saying that you are.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
You would surround yourself with other people that don't believe in it, believe in it? Where were you going with that?
I guess like people who like, that will usually tell me like where I'm wrong, because like, I mean, I've always said, you know, the only person who knows you best is like you know, who knows you better than you.
What I keep hearing again and again, and I know you have to go.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're buying the cup of latte, thinking that there's chai tea in it, and setting it on the counter and walking away, knowing 100% confident that there's chai latte in there, right? That's what it sounds like you're almost doing with this belief. That you don't have a way to sip it, to test it. Is there any way that you can test this belief to figure out that you were mistaken on it?
Let's see. Test it. I don't know. I just kind of like, I kind of take life as it is, one day at a time, you know, and it's kind of like me, you know, I just kind of take one day at a time and just kind of handle every struggle. Like one of the things like...
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
If I had a method for you to test it, and I don't, but if I did, or anybody had a method that said, hey, you know, Andy, here's a method for you to test this belief to see if it's true. Would you take them up on it? Would you want to implement?
Yeah, I think in the sense like it's always good to like get advice, you know, because like, I mean, I've become friends with like people who aren't.
I'm not talking about advice. I'm talking about a definitive action that you can take to basically sip the latte, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, you sip the latte to figure out that it's not latte. Try latte. Somebody might have this technique to say, hey dude, if you do this, there's Odell, if you do this, you can discover that it doesn't function in the way that you think that it does. Would you be interested in implementing that corrective measure?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it just really depends on like, I think I would look at that person, you know, and just like look at their personal life, you know, like how are they?
You would be skeptical on the person giving you the corrective measure?
I would make sure that I'm receiving corrective advice, like they have their life in order. You know, like obviously you wouldn't get financial advice from a homeless person, right? Am I right? Yeah.
It depends. Like if they, you know, I don't know what their background would be. Hey, Odell.
Yeah.
Let's focus on something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
is your way of saying that you have no way of determining currently that the belief that you're holding in the Bible is mistaken?
Well, I mean, it does say in the Bible, you know, to test the spirits, lest they be the faith, you know, and so I think in the sense, like, there is a testing.
It encourages you to test, but you haven't been able to identify what you would accept as a test.
Yeah, I guess, like, it just depends on, like, if someone had a test, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd be willing to take it. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Thank you very much. I want to see you around again, okay?
Yeah, hopefully, man.
I really appreciate the talk.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
All right, thank you.
Hi.